Okay, so we are going to paint the roads by spline using our scripts that we installed in the last episode. Before I get into that, I just want to run through a few things about maps for FS. Now, if you remember, I did say that the app is going to continuously evolve, and I have been informed that some things have changed already. So you just got to look a little bit deeper. I'm gonna wait until I do another video on it, until it gets to a more kind of fixed effort, if you like, a more stable, permanent kind of situation. I think is probably going to be the best thing, but I will be doing some updates as and when it kind of works out right. But there is a couple of other things I want to go over through from using the app itself. If we pull up our plane, there we go. So as you can see, we put our plane in and we made it a decal so that we could look at it down on our land. And I'm not too bothered about this because I'm not going to use all of these farms. I'm only going to really concentrate on this kind of area for my map, because I don't have woods and stuff to the sides where I can blank it off. So we kind of need to make some of these fields out here and around here and this farm down here obsolete, and just as visual, right, rather than functional, because you don't want to come traveling out here and then you see the background, because it's still not going to look 100% right. Okay, so we kind of contain ourselves within the terrain, right? But also what I wanted to point out, and I know I am waffling, but we really need to go over this so that you understand, is that it doesn't always pick up the correct things. Alright, so here in particular we have a big old farm just here, and then we have this kind of nothing. Alright, it doesn't look like it's a pond or a lagoon, maybe a tiny pond just here, but it's done this big drop away here for some kind of water area by the looks of it, and obviously that's not right. But it hasn't mapped out where this farm actually is, it's just put a track in. So, you know, it's missed the houses and stuff down here. So you really need to go over your map once you've got it in like this before we really go moving on to anything else, because we need to know where we need to put roads and stuff. And it's like up here, this, you'd very easily sit and think to yourself, well, that must be a stream or a river. Well, it's not. Okay, it's a hedgerow, but it's picked that hedgerow up for whatever reason as being a river. So it's got to be picking up shadows or something, I guess, or some kind of geo phenomenon for whatever reason. So obviously we're going to have to flatten that out. Here it's picked up this pond, which has got a tree in the middle of it, so it's obviously got a little island in there. So it's picked that up okay. But yeah, you do need to go over it. It's not flawless, it's not 100%, but it does really get us into a kind of ballpark area. The other thing that you need to be aware of is, if you're thinking you can come straight in and use the roads that it puts out for us, think again, because it makes them dirt. We've got this one, looks like it's asphalt, but this is dirt, and this is clearly a main road, and you look at it, right? It hasn't got all the tracks in, so we've got a track here that runs along the side of this field. We've got a track here which runs along the side of this field too, right? and it does put some wonderful textures in. It just randomly splodges stuff in. So we're gonna have to remove all that and put it in, and that comes down to precision when you're laying out your areas and making it look real. But we've got a track here and it's not there, so we need to, it's got some really weird terrain going on there, so we'll work here. I might show you another piece that we can work on too, if I can find something, but I think we'll work in this area first. So really what we want to do is we want to clear this up, I think is our best option. So let's come into our foliage. We want to just go grass and just, that should be fine. And then you want to make sure that you're on subtract and use your right mouse button. We'll get rid of all this foliage here just so that we can see how the track lays down in there. We want to make it look pretty good. And if you can hear my heater in the background, I apologize, but it's chuffing cold. What is that? I don't know. It's chuffing cold here in Canada, and the heating is working extra hard at the moment. Probably could have made our little thing a bit bigger. I'm going to get rid of this because I know there is a farm here or a building as well, so let's just have a look at that. Attributes, bring up visibility, there it is. Yeah, see, so we've got a house here of some description, and we've got something here. That's probably a house, and that's probably a small farmyard, I guess. Perhaps, maybe. And we've got a big row of trees down here. So we've got a lot of work to sort out here, and then we've got this track runs in along the side of the farm. Oh, did that go in? Let's get rid of that for a second. Oh, it did put the track there. Okay, good for you. Put it in the wrong place, but that all comes down to the way things have lined out. We got that track there too. So yeah, I would concentrate on getting all our roads in first. Tracks, roads, exactly where we want them. If you're going to be laying roads using other methods, just wait, because I'll be going through that later as well, using the splines to do that. But if you just want to paint them, then this is how you're going to do it. So let's get rid of our visual, because we don't really need that now. We know it's coming along here, so we're just going to put it where we roughly want it to be. So first things first is we want to put our spline in. It's kind of made something here already, but it's got all a bit excited. I don't know. So what we want to do is we want to get rid of that first of all, Ceebur, thank you. And then we want to come up to here to create. Click on that, and then we're going to come down to spline, and then we've got our spline there. Then, because we don't know where it is, you're going to press Control and the letter B for Bravo and hold those down, and then with your left mouse button just click it to where you want it, and that works for me. Now what we want to do is we'll kind of try and follow the line that it's already made for us, which is odd, but anyway. Right, word of warning. This is very important whilst I just set this up. The spline. You do not want to change its rotation manually. Okay, and what I mean by that is you do not want to come onto the green circle, which will do it, and spin it around. We do not want over here on your rotate axis to change. We want this at 0 all of the time. And because if you do not, it will cause a rift in the matrix. What will happen is it will, if you have it here like that, and then you have the next one, and then you spin it like that and spin it like that to try and get them to line up, okay? When you lay your spline out, it won't read it as being straight. It will read it that you have, it will read the fact that you've moved it, you've changed the rotation. And then what can happen is it will either, if like for instance you were using this to put down a hedgerow, it will twist them, turn them, flip them upside down. If like with the painting that we're going to do, it will try and take different directions to meet its objective area. So do not change the rotation. Always ensure that your rotation is at 0. Now the next thing is the S and the E. That's not south, that's not east, that's start and end. And clearly where you start from is where you want the start, and where you're going to end is where you're going to take this end marker. I believe these are called the CVS nodes or something like that. I'm just going to refer to them as nodes. I work with DaVinci, and whenever you've got a little dot like this, it's always called a node. So I'm used to calling it a node. It is a node, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm not going to change. So we want this to face this way, okay? So the way that we do that is we just click there we go, click it around the area. You can't click on the node, and I don't know why. It doesn't work. See, it doesn't work if you click on the node. If you click by the node, it does work. The other way to move across them is by using your direction keys on your keypad on your keyboard. So if you use left and right, you can move along like that, or move along like that. That's the right arrow key, this is the left arrow key. Okay, so to move these nodes, you select the node that you want to move and straighten and align, and you move it. Now don't worry that it's making it bend, because we can change that. Alright, and we just make it straight. Check that it is straight, and in some instances it doesn't always work, and if that's the case, then you can just select the node that you don't want and delete it, and then it makes your next node your start. Okay, that's how you deal with that situation. Now to take this spline, actually I want to move that just there a little bit. To take this spline and get it all the way down here, we have to select our end node. We're going to press insert like that, and I guess you could just insert all the way along in a straight line, or we can go insert like that and then press Control B, and this is the way I prefer to do it, and you can place it to where you want it to be, and then press insert on that one, and then Control B for Bravo, and then left click your mouse button to where you want the next one, and then press insert, and just go along like that. So we go Control B, left mouse button, insert, Control B, left mouse button, insert. Alright, that's how I prefer to do it. It will be a little bit janky, and in all honesty, tracks are janky. Roads you might want to be a little bit more precise with. But right now I'm gonna go all the way along here. I'll do it in speedy fashion and get to the end, and then we'll do the next process. And then we'll just put our last one in here like that. Insert. Alright, now you may be asking, Ceebur, you've gone to the left hand side. That's because we've got those trees here, right? And I don't want to, if I can not mess up our fields as much as possible, leaves me less work to do. So we want to put the track in, and then we'll put the trees in. Pretty sure the trees came down there. What was that over here? Either way, that's what we're going to do. We're going to put trees down there. So that is our spline laid out for our track. Now you go along it, you can just check it, and if there's any areas that look high, you can just bring it down. This looks fine to me because I want to level this anyway. Let's look at the start. Oh, start is low. Okay, so let's just bring our start up. We could probably bring this guy up too, just a little bit, and this guy I think we'll bring down. Ah, there we go. Okay, and we just want to look down there. I'm happy with that. I'm just going to check the rotation again to make sure we haven't done anything bulky or anything like that, and we haven't. We're good. Okay, so just click on the white on here, and then that deselects that for now, because I don't want to mess any of that up or touch it or move it or anything whilst I'm working with my script for a second. So we're going to come into script, we're going to come into user scripts, and then we've got our scripts that we installed, the FS25 script versions, and I want to set the height first. Okay, so we want spline height panel 25. Okay, so that's the one we want. Then you go through all of this. Alright, so we have, oh, where'd it go? It's gone. Let's bring it back up again. User scripts. Pressed the wrong button clearly. Kind of bring that there, I think. Okay, so set center width. So that is the width area. So you could set your center, if you sit down and work out the sizes of this. One, I believe, works out at being 1 meter. I think that's how it works. We'll test it in a minute, but as far as I know, that's how it works. So 1 would be 1 meter, 2 meters, 3 meters. I don't think they've changed it. That's how it used to be. But then you can set your spline height. So you could set your center width if you were painting, for example. And I know we're just doing height, but for example, when you're doing painting, you could set your center width for being 1 foot or 2 feet, and then your outer it being 3 feet either side, and then that will give you your 3-ply look effect. You could put grass down the middle and have gravel either side. You can kind of do that, but I don't know, again, like I said, with the feet, the sizes, the scaling, I don't know exactly on the scaling whether it would work and look right as to having a high center and then have your tracks either side like a tractor would create, right? I don't know whether the scaling of that, you're going to get that to look any good. So I would probably just stick with having a flat track with your height, and then paint in down the middle your grass, and then you can paint in with your foliage texture, your grass sticking up. I think would be the better way to do that, rather than trying, because then you're just going to have it and it's not going to be quite right, and you're going to have really bad camber, and it's just not going to be pleasant to go down. And yeah, I know mud and dirt tracks aren't pleasant to go down, but when you're trying to play a game, you want it a little bit sensible. You could turn it into the biggest pig in the whole wide world if you really wanted to, with craters and dips and everything. You could do that. If that's how you want it, by all means go ahead. But as for gameplay, that's not, I don't think it would be quite nice, quite pleasant. So what we're going to do is we're just going to set this track at being around about, let's say 3 meters wide. Okay, so let's put in 3 here. And then we want to set the spline height. We want to keep that 0. So we want to keep the spline at its height that we have it. Okay, you could make it 1, you could make it 0.5, which will elevate it, or you can go minus, which will bring it and sink it down into the ground. Maybe let's go minus 0.8, which will sink it just a little bit. It'll give us a very tiny kind of chamfer to either side. If you want to smooth your edges out, then this is the degree that it will do it, so it will have it as a steeper angle or a more kind of incline. I think I'm going to go with 2 on these, because usually when you go with 1 you kind of get a kind of jagged kind of, especially when you're going around curves and stuff, it's not particularly smooth. So I'll go with 2, and then everything else there I'm pretty happy with. We're not going to change the edge because we're just going to make the center the main plane of this spline. Okay, so then we'll go set height. Now before I do this, you need to make sure that your spine is selected, because obviously you want it to be that. But also I would very much recommend saving, because if you have done a very long spline, on occasion Giants editor will have a little hissy fit and it will crash. Okay, you're gonna find out. 100%, you're all gonna find out. So that's all set, that's how we want it. We're gonna press set height then, and hopefully it doesn't crash. And then clearly 0.8 was the wrong choice. Now when you do this, you cannot control Z out of it either, right? So also saving it beforehand is a very good idea, because if that isn't what you want, you can come up here and you can just go, are you sure? So you come up here to the little green recycle. It goes, are you sure you want to really reload the scene file? The changes you made will be lost. And we go, yeah, because I didn't want that. Alright. So it's going to take its happy little minute or two, and then we're back to where we were. Alright. What it has done actually is give us our little purple haze back, so we'll just eliminate that situation, because that sucks. Thank you. Right, so we know that 0.8 is wrong. I should have done it the other way and made it 0.2, I think, or actually 0.1. We'll just sink it very tiny little bit, very tiny. Okay, so click on our spline again. We've got it selected, and now we'll go set height. There we go. So it's just nicely dropped it in. And to be fair, we could have done this smooth edge probably 3, because it's still got a little bit of jaggedness going on there. It's also give us a bit of a drop here, which probably we didn't really want that much of a drop, right? Because this was, we've got a tiny farmyard here and a house here. It wouldn't be that low. Okay, so what you could also do is you could make this just 0 and then go with set height, and it will bring it up just a little bit. Alright, you can do it that way if it's not quite right. But if you go real deep, then if you go real deep down into the ground, it's not going to work quite as nice as you wanted it to. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking probably we might want it a bit wider than that, actually. Maybe we'll make it 4 then. Yeah, so let's just change this up a bit. So let's make it 4 meters across. Let's change this to 3 so we can kind of make it a little bit better. We'll keep the height at 0 and we'll go again. There, that's much better to look at. Okay, really doesn't like this area here though, does it? Although it has done it. It's just made it a bit weird coming down here, eh? I'm kind of happy with it. I think it'll do for just a dirt track anyway. So that's that done. Let's set our level. So we're in a kind of area that we would want that to be. So we don't need that anymore, but we do want to paint our track in now, don't we? So we go back up to scripts and we go to the user scripts, and then we want to go spline paint panel 25. That's the one we want to bring up. Let's bring that down here again as well. And again, actually we'll get this set up and then we'll save, and then it will save it all where we kind of want it to be. Alright, so let's make this a 3. Let's go with trying to make it a 3-ply so that you can see how that works. We're going to set the center width, so let's make that 1. Set edge width. Let's make that 1.5, and then we want to set the textures. So we're going to set edge texture left, and we'll just go, let's go mud gravel, and then set center texture, and we're going to make that grass dirt. Let's come down here. Actually, we use these so the capitals are combined. When you click on these are the singular, so just make it very uniform down. I just remembered that as I was looking at it. So if you use the ones with the capital, it's combined, so it uses, like if you went on dusty asphalt or asphalt dusty, if you just clicked 01, that would be 01 picture all the way down in a uniform fashion. However, if you chose asphalt dusty, if it's on here, asphalt, nope, it's not. Let's say it was asphalt dusty was on here, then it would use both 01 and 02 combined, and it would mix it up as it goes. So let's just say we'll go with center texture as grass dirt. Yep. Mud gravel. Let's go back to this. We'll go to the capitals. Mud grass, mud rock. Doesn't have mud gravel. Okay, so what would be more? Oh, there's asphalt dusty. That's not the one we want though. So yeah, that would use both combined. Anyway, let's not get distracted here by situations. Let's go. Mud tracks is the animal tracks in the mud. We don't want that. Dirt gravel. There we go. That'll work. Okay. And I've got those the wrong way around. No, I haven't. We want to set the right hand texture to dirt gravel. Isn't it wonderful that the hardest thing you have to think about is what actual texture you want to use rather than how you're going to do it. Set texture distance, we'll keep that at 0.5. Select random paint. No, we'll keep that deselected for now. Random width, we'll have that on 0. Random texture, no, we don't want to do any of that. Random distance, no, we don't want to do any of that. You can play around with that, see what it does for you, but for me, I don't want to mess around with anything else. I just want it to do the simple, and then if I want to change it up, because I like to do those kind of things, and you'll know that from my videos when I do farm edits and stuff. I like to do it personally because that's how you make it look more real. If you randomize it, it's not always random. It's not always random, and it's not always the way you want it to be random, right? Okay, so that is all set up, and I am happy with that, and we're going to click on, oh, won't let me save. I want to click on save. We'll save that before we go ahead, just in case anything goes wrong, or just in case it crashes, right? So that is saved. So we'll click on our spline, and then we'll click paint. There we go. That looks spectacular. Actually, it does. I quite like that. I'd like this to be more continuous, but it won't be. If you were going in a straight line in the squared fashion, right, so we can see here a squared straight line is, where can we, have we got one that we can work off of, or do I have to draw one? I don't really want to draw one, because then I have to get rid of it. Here we go. Nope, that's not square either. Oh, Ceebur, you're going to have to draw one. Okay. Right. Let's go to textures and just bring this up. I need to show you this so that you understand. Just because I know that somebody's going to ask me why it's not doing it. And it's easier if I show you. I'll just show you with grass. Am I on the right one? I am on the right one. And we want this to be square. Okay, so you can see that the square, let's come closer to our track. So you can see right now that is not square, okay? The track there does not go, oh, why is that not doing as I ask it? Because I'm not on texture, you buffoon. Someone's having a laugh with me today. The brush. The brush. The brush I want square. There we go. Good grief, that took some effort. Okay, so if we go in a straight line, now you can see it, back in the day it would always be a straight line. Now we're actually we're getting fade outs on the edges, but that is a straight line, okay? And this isn't. This is going on a curve around the area. So because it's on a curve, with the center, because it's so narrow, it won't find that straight line. Now you could go through and you could probably add another bit of texture into this area. See? But if you just went whoop like that, then it wouldn't do it. So I quite like the fact that it's patchy like that, and I would go around this and I would take some other things like I've got asphalt on now, so I would smooth this area out so that it flows down into there properly. But just for tutorial teaching, you know, you can do it like that, and then you can come along, and this is how I would do it personally. I would come along and I would look for some other bits and pieces, so mud dark, and I would throw in some mud here. And I know this is what gets you guys excited when I do when I do my videos, and because I like going the distance, right? And also, if you notice when you're doing this, it's filling in the gaps as well. So it's going, oh, okay, so you want to merge this here? Okay, we'll throw in some grass and we'll make it look nice and try and blend it for you. And I would just go along here, and this is my randomization, is I can look at this and I can go like that, and I can go, actually no, I don't like it like that, I think I just preferred that one there. This is how my brain works when it comes to stuff like this. And I would also go down the edge and I would change some of this to gravel, and anyway, that's just me. That's just how I do these things. And then we come in and we put grass down the middle and all that jazz, and we get all excited about the situation, and we'd need some Kleenex maybe. Anyway, so that is that done. Alright, that is how we, or you or I, would do that. You could make it wider if you want. I like to keep things as narrow as possible and keep them as tricky as possible. We could, and we really probably should, come in here and do some height adjustment on a few things that I'm looking at right now, so I'll show you. We want to smooth, so we're on smooth there. I much prefer to use round when I'm working with. We'll change it to round then. Might help if you clicked on the correct one. Yeah, there we go. And then smooth out some of these lumps. I'm looking at, and I'm thinking, I don't think I would want that lump there, and I would smooth it. Some other lumps there, and you could, if you wanted to, just run down your track and make it a little bit better. I think this would probably benefit from being slightly wider, if I'm honest, to try and level that out. And I'm also noticing whilst I'm looking at it that it doesn't actually look like it's made the track central to the spline, so I'm wondering whether we've got a bit of an issue with the mod at the moment, the plugin. You see though, you just run quickly down the edge there, it's taken away that harshness, and it's, oh, that looked like the mustache from the Lorax. But you can see that's already coming in and looking real good. Alright, let's smooth this lump out here. I don't know what that's all about, but it looks rubbish. Okay. But you know, it's taken away a lot of that rubbish. You know, the track goes in, we don't have to paint it, the track's there. Okay, it's a real easy way of getting this done now, if you've never done it this way. And I think really that is probably there or thereabouts for where we're gonna go with this video. Is there anything else I need to explain? I don't think there is. I think I've covered it all. Yeah, I think we're good for that. So the next one that we're going to do, the next video is going to carry on with splines. I have decided that I'm going to do another mini series on splines without a map. I'll just show you on a blank canvas, and then we'll just do individual things of what you can do with splines, because I'm aware that people are going to be very interested in doing that and not necessarily want to watch all my videos. So I'm going to do another kind of short series about the splines, not soon but later. I will do it, but not right away, because I'm concentrating on this series at the moment. So yes, that's that. So in the next episode that we're going to do is going to carry on with splines, and we're going to be using the street constructor and the crossing constructor for doing the actual proper road layouts, which means I have to get all of my tracks and everything in place to where I want them to be, and then I can lay out our streets with the street constructor. So the next one will, yes, the next video is going to be how to install the constructor and everything, and then the video after that will be about how to lay down the road. Yeah, that's how we'll do that, or else we're going to end up with hour-and-a-half videos. That's not what I want. So that right there is painting road by spline. Beautiful. That's, I feel like that's much better than the other one was. Video. Killed the radio star. Desktop. What's this? Image? Video?